We are on Stewart Street near 4th in downtown Seattle. And we are taking a walk with Police Chief Carmen Best, and up ahead, Mayor Jenny Durkan.
Property owners are really intentional about how they set up the program, and so we're hiring folks from the Justice System right into the cleaning program.
And we're with John Scholes. He is the president and CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association. Now, John, you've just come from your walk with the mayor. What did you hear from her about, the progress that's being made here in this area?
I heard a commitment to really leveraging the entire city government. It's not just a police issue, but multiple departments to deal with both crime and public safety issues, but also maintenance and disorder issues and improvements to the physical infrastructure in the heart of our downtown and the heart of our city. This is everybody's neighborhood. You may not live here, you might not work here, but you come to visit, you come to be in a parade, you come to enjoy Westlake Park, come down for the holidays. We want everybody's neighborhood here in Seattle to be a great neighborhood where you feel safe and welcome and invited.
Not gonna lie, I've taken in a game of Oversized Connect 4 myself.
Excellent, that's what we like to hear.
How it goes. So how would you say the progress is? Are people starting to feel safe down here?
We've got work to do. The person crimes against people, that number is going in the wrong direction. We've seen an increase over the last 3 years in the downtown core. That gives us some alarm. We're hearing a lot from our retailers of significant shoplifting on a daily basis, seeing some of the same people. And from the report we put out in late February with a number of other partners around the city, we're seeing lots of folks cycling through the criminal justice system. They're arrested and booked one day, out the next, committing similar crimes, having a big impact on the neighborhood and having a big cost to our city and county government. We think we need to address that issue. The whole criminal justice system and our human services system has a role to play there.
How about the maintenance issues? How's the city doing in that regard?
We pointed out a number of areas where we think there could be some improvement. More trash collection, lights that are burnt out, sidewalks that are cracked, things like that matter to the sense of the pride we have in our city and the quality of the experience of being in the downtown. We want it to be attractive and beautiful. We want you to feel safe and welcome and invited. And there's some work for us to do there. The private sector, through their own investment, are doing cleaning on a daily basis, providing hospitality and safety patrols, investing in extra police patrols as well. So that partnership between the private sector and the city is really important, and there's more we can all do.
Now, the other key thing, and you've touched on the merchants already, what are they saying to you, in addition to the shoplifting problem?
Yeah, there's a high level of frustration with the disruption and disorder from repeat criminals that are having an impact in the coffee shops, in the restaurants, in the retail stores, and it's left often to retail workers to have to deal with those issues, to be on the front lines of defending against criminal activity within their places of work, and that's not right. And we're seeing a lot of disruption. It's a lot of cost to those retailers who are having to invest in more security, more police. They're losing a lot of items through shoplifting, and it's completely disruptive to their ability to do business. So there's much more we have to do there. We're not doing what we need to do to intervene in the lives of people that repeatedly break the law and come back out on the streets only to do it again. We got to do better as a city.
All right, very good. John Scholes, Downtown Seattle Association. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Been in an agreement with the City of Seattle and the Parks Department over the last 3 years. It's a 5-year agreement to welcome everybody to this space. So as the Downtown Seattle Association, we're partnered with the mayor, her team, the Parks Department, Jesus, to bring investment into this space, games, music, activities, reasons for you to be here. This is an example of success we've had together. The private sector and the downtown community working with the City of Seattle. We've replicated this in Occidental Square as well. We want to do more of this. There's additional spaces in the downtown that we think would lend themselves to this level of investment and activity and this positive activation. And we think this model is applicable to other parts of the city as well. There's other neighborhoods outside of downtown that we've shared best practices with, we've shared our lessons learned, so that this can be replicated in those areas. So this is an example of success where we can come in together with investment, take a space that largely people avoided, make it a place people want to be.
But what are you concerned about on the public safety front?
Well, our downtown's growing. We've had an increase in people crime within the commercial core, so that's caught our attention over the last couple of years. Our police department needs to grow as well. And the maintenance issues that we've got in a growing downtown, in the public right-of-way that needs some additional maintenance, and that's why we're out here today. We're pleased to have so much support from the city and our city partners that we work with on a daily basis, and to have the mayor and the chief here on the ground with us, going through the retail core and looking at some of these areas. This is a conversation we really welcome, and we appreciate them taking the time and putting in the energy to help us resolve some of these issues.
What are the factors driving the increase in aggravated assaults so far this year, and can patrols play a role in that?
Well, one of the reasons that we're working together to make sure that we're down here, the Emphasis Patrol is really putting resources in areas where we have identified hotspot issues. In this case, there has been an increase in assaults, and we have officers out there looking for any time to make sure that we have both a return effect and we're able to take care of the custody. We're glad to be a part of all the city agencies. I'm glad the mayor gave us the direction, the option to do this, and we're working with everyone, all the stakeholders, to make sure that downtown and all the other areas of the city are safe places for everyone to live, to work, to do business, and to get food.
How will we measure the success of the Emphasis patrols? I know you guys just did the walk, you're talking behind closed doors. Will we be able to see a change in numbers? How are you measuring that success?
Well, certainly, under the mayor's direction, we're looking at everything. We're going to look at the number of outreach, the contacts that we have, the number of agents that we're able to have, the number of crime going down in the area. So there's a whole lot of things that will be successful in this endeavor. Like we do for any system control, we're always looking at reducing the numbers. That's why we're out there.
There are neighborhoods.
I just want to emphasize one thing here as well. We're asking the chief a lot of questions. Public safety really is about holistic solutions for a neighborhood. It's why you see with a city like the Parks Department, other Department of Neighborhoods and others here on the walk together, because we know that our holistic approaches are what's going to make every community safer. And when we behave spikes in crime, that our police intervention helps, it's only part of the solution. That's why these emphasis is not just police. It's really going in and taking away the graffiti, replacing streetlights, activating parks, making sure the community feels safe in every corner of that community, and empowering the community voice. Most of these walks have I take walks around the city all the time, as you know, and being in these neighborhoods and communities, listen to the voices on what they think they need more from their community, and then pairing that with the data that we see. We want to have data-driven analysis, but it's a holistic response that is not just a police response. It's the whole city coming together to serve all the communities across the city.
Mayor, you mentioned in your decision to choose these 7 neighborhoods issues that were not directly related to crime upticks. Can you talk about what some of those issues are? This came up at this morning's city council briefing as well.
I wasn't at the city council briefing, but we've made very clear from the beginning that we look at the crime data, but we also listen to neighborhoods about what are those other things the neighborhood needs. For example, when I was at South Park, they talked a lot about connecting youth with their park space, removing graffiti, making sure that businesses could stay open and that they were free from vandalism, as well as activating those streets. So we listen to the whole thing that the community is telling as we pair with crime, and we see emphasis isn't new. It's a strategy that has existed in this city for decades, but making sure that we bring together all of the city departments so that communities know we're there as one city helping them. And another thing I want to make clear is 2 things. Is one, this is not supplanting what we're doing already in neighborhoods. We are already in every neighborhood of the city working as hard as we can, and this isn't the beginning nor the end. We do these kinds of surge efforts historically, and we'll continue to do so.
But respond to the criticism that the Emphasis patrols are going to the places with the biggest voices, not necessarily the biggest problem.
I haven't heard that criticism. What I've heard from every neighborhood and community groups is we are so glad you're listening, not just to what the data is showing, but what we're experiencing in our community. So again, we start with data, but then we supplement that data with what is it feeling like living in all those places, working, having businesses. How are our parks? How are our streetlights? What's the level of graffiti? That's why our response is not just a police response, but a whole response from the city.
Chief, there's some criticism that your officers are not allowed to be police officers, to actually arrest people from the directive of the mayor and city council members. What do you say to that criticism? And will your officers be actually able to arrest people after this repeat offender survey that we talked about?
Look, we're going to do our job no matter what. And our officers have been directed to do their work and work under the oath this morning. We are not operating on somebody's survey outside our organization. It has the mayor there, the data speaks for itself. We're taking a holistic approach. We're really glad to partner with our businesses downtown and all of the other areas that are affected in a collaborative response to all of this. So, the criticism, if it's a false criticism, we're trying to make sure that all neighborhoods in the city are safe.
But even some of your office.
Patrol, did it come after the repeat offender? What the business is?
Can I just add one thing, though? The report we put out showed that the police department is making arrests. The breakdown is across the criminal justice system. This department is making arrests, so we need to look more broadly at where are the folks that aren't getting the help they need across the criminal justice system. Each one of those people on that report had been arrested multiple times. So our challenges are bigger than just the arrest issue.
And on that, I will note that we had the second meeting today of our task force that is bringing together Superior Court, Municipal Court, Dan Satterberg's office, Pete Holmes' office, service providers, public defenders, to really deal with that issue on how people are falling between cracks in the criminal justice system. What services do we need to provide? How do we deal with those issues? So again, it's but I really want to emphasize the holistic. That's why we got the head of City Light, the head of Parks, the head of our economic development. This type of process doesn't come before or after any report. Emphasis patrols happen every year, all year, in parts of the city. About this time last year, if you were with me, you saw me in the Central District after we had an uptick in shots fired. And we went, we walked, we met with community members, we had roundtables, and we had similar types of responses. Some of those responses are overt, and sometimes the police are doing operations that aren't overt. But every day we are adjusting what our operations look like based both upon crime data and the other things that are going on in the neighborhood.
When I talk to people often about a holistic approach, but we're seeing a battle between Judge McKenna, the city attorney. How are you working together to make sure that the people that the police department arrests stay arrested, get help that they need? There's a battle brewing in your city.
There's no battle brewing. All those people were in the same room today for 2 hours talking about solutions. And so I think that there can be disagreements about what those solutions are, but I have commitment both from the city attorney and from Judge McKenna and from Dan Satterberg and from the King County City Report and other stakeholders who are in the room saying, let's identify what the issues are, let's be honest and get the data on the table, and let's talk about holistic solutions.
Many at today's council meeting asked for the emphasis patrols to be expanded to different neighborhoods and to be expanded beyond a month. Chief, Mayor, can you do more of these emphasis patrols in more places longer?
I think number one, 30 days is just when we're going to start measuring it. No police operation tells you this is when we stop. And we, every day, the chief and I meet together regularly, and we are reviewing both data, and we're out, each of us is out every day in the city doing all kinds of walks, meeting with people, plus police officers are in every part of the city, as are the Parks Department, Utilities Department, everyone else. We take that information and we say, where do we need to move the needle? The good news is, citywide crime is down, as you know. But in certain neighborhoods, we see spikes of crime, and we want to address it when it happens.
Mayor, this morning at the city council meeting, people said they've seen things like this before. They've seen citywide emphasis programs. They've seen City Light SPD come in. They saw the 9.5 block strategy. They want to know how this differs and will it have similar results?
So the two answers to that is again, emphasis patrols are common, and you continue to have them, but public safety and any kind of city services are not a static thing. It's a moving river, and so you have to constantly adjust, come back to areas, go back again, work with the partners, work with community-based organizations, work with people like the Downtown Seattle Association, who has its own Mid-Partners program, and we will continue to do that on an ongoing basis. Again, every part of this city matters to this chief, to me, to my other department directors who are here today, and we work every day to make sure that we deliver services to every corner of this town as well as we can. But when we see things that we think we need to pay attention to, the messages, we're going to pay attention.
All right, thank you.
What's the kind of talk about the need for increased